Thank you for inviting me and being such a good mentor, because without your guidance, I wouldn't be able to clear both the levels in the first attempt that too.
Thank you. Thank you, Aditya.
I was mostly only watching the video during my traveling,
Acha.
and simultaneously I used to just look in the few lines here and there because it was difficult reading line by line while traveling. So mostly it was only reading, watching the videos.
How much was the travel time?
So travel was around 3 hours per day.
So basically the major reading was happening in that 3 hours.
Yes.
What was the average score you were getting in mocks? Out of 80, how much correct?
Around 45 to 15. Fintelligent I got around 46, and in GARP I got around 48 and 45.
You were happy with that score?
I know that with this score I would be in a good position to clear the exam. My main objective was to understand where I was making the mistakes and try to implement or develop my thinking in such a way that these mistakes do not happen again when I give the final exam, because that was the main objective for giving the mocks. So I was not focusing on score much.
If you can give 3 tips on how to prepare for FRM Level 2. Hello guys, I hope everybody is doing good. Hi, this is Ganesh Nayak. I help finance professionals and students to excel in their career and become a better version of themselves. And I also help students preparing for competitive exams like FRM, CFA and SCR. And today I have with me one of my students who has been able to clear FRM Level 2 exam in the November attempt. His name is Aditya. He's going to be guiding us about his journey of preparing for the exam. Okay. So Aditya, thank you very much for taking out time.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
And for the audience, if you can tell us that when did you clear level 1? When did you started preparing for level 2? And what happened between that?
Okay. So level 1 I cleared in the month of May 2023, and before that I was working in an NBFC in the credit underwriting segment. After clearing my level 1, I switched to a operational risk role in an insurance firm. There I worked in the operation risk department, where I got to experience about the different functions of operation risk, RCSA, KRA testing, etc. And simultaneously I started preparing for my level 2 in the month of June 24, proper preparation. Before that I used to only read like 1 and 2 chapters here and there.
Okay. So from June 2024 for the November attempt, were you confident of that time that 5 months, 6 months you will be able to clear?
From my level 1 experience, I was confident that if I put in consistent effort, I would be able to clear.
Okay, perfect. And then from June onwards, how much time you were giving each day to prepare?
So daily I was trying to give around 1.5 to 2 hours. So my main goal was to complete 1 chapter per day.
Okay. And you were watching the video and reading the textbook?
I was mostly only watching the video during my traveling.
Achha.
And simultaneously I used to just look in the few lines here and there because it was difficult reading line by line while traveling. So mostly it was only reading, watching the videos. The reading part I started when I used to give my first mocks, quiz 1 mocks. Then I started reading and then giving the mock.
Okay, so because you traveled, how much was the travel time?
So travel was around 3 hours per day. 3 to 3.5 hours.
So basically the major reading was happening in that 3 hours?
Yes.
Okay, and when did you started solving the question bank?
Question bank I started in the month of around August 24. So my goal was to daily solve 1 quiz 1. So I only gave the quiz 1 mocks, which were around, I think, the easier level mocks, chapter wise, because from level 1 my major understanding was that if I want to clear the exam, I need to focus on mocks, because only reading Schweitzer will be able to clear the exam.
So you gave the mock exams, Fintelligent mocks at the end of the day?
Yes.
After coming from office,
yes.
you were giving the exam?
Yes.
So is it the same chapter that you read, you were giving the mock?
No. So I started in the month of June, and then the first mock I gave in the month of August, because I wanted to keep a gap of around 1.5 to 2 months, so that it would also act like a second reading or a second revision. Because as per my experience, I need to at least go through the entire material 3 to 4 times if I want to have a good chance of clearing the exam, or else it won't be possible.
Okay, so when you started the mocks, how many chapters you had already completed?
I completed around, I think, 50 chapters.
50 in 1 month, 1.5?
No. June, July, August in 3 months.
Yes. June, July, August. So August you started, so 2 months you were able to complete 50?
Yes. Because I only used to watch the video lectures. I wasn't reading the chapter.
Okay. And then when did you completed the full watching of the video?
That November first week.
Oh, okay. And what about solving? You were able
solving also that period only.
But only quiz 1. You did not touch the quiz?
Yes.
Okay. And which book you found very tough for your preparation while preparing for the exam?
And credit risk mostly. Credit risk and liquidity risk.
Okay, and easiest book?
Operational risk.
Because you were already working in
Yes,
that.
because many people think that the operational risk is very concept heavy and very lengthy to read. But since I'd already worked in the same field, I found it a bit easier. So in one reading, I was able to understand and grasp all the concepts
Okay,
that were
okay.
given.
And during this entire journey from June till November, by the time you completed your content and solving, was there a time period that you found demotivated or you were not able to maintain consistency?
A lot of the times. But from my level 1 experience with you, you only told me that just focus on the process and don't think about if I remember the concepts or not. So I just kept reading because I know that eventually in the end it would come together if I just follow the consistent process.
Okay, okay. And then you, after completing your question bank, what was the next step that you did?
So, and I think November first week I gave all the quiz one and completed the reading. Post that I had exam on 18th. So I had around 16-17 days left.
Okay.
So in that time I plan to give the sectional test and the main at least 3 marks of the complete paper. So for the sectional test I planned to read a book in one day and then the next day give the sectional test. But the reading the entire book in one day was not possible. So for that I just focused on the important concepts video which you made per chapter. So
The summary videos.
Yes, the summary videos.
Yes.
So I read those concepts and then I gave the sectional test.
Okay, interesting. And
I
then,
could not read the entire book before giving the sectional test.
but you had holiday available for the preparation.
Last around 14-15 days I had holiday.
Okay, interesting. So in that 14-15 days, you had gone through the content once.
Yes.
The fast forward content once.
Yes.
And sectional test, all sectional tests you had given?
Only one per book.
One per book. Okay.
Yes.
Then how many mock papers you solved?
Mock papers I gave 3, 1 of Fintelligents and 2 of GAR.
And what was the time you were giving in month of November per day or October per day?
From October end onwards and Saturday Sundays I used to give around 8-9 hours. And last 15-20 days I gave around 10 hours a day.
Because it was a holiday.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And what was the average score you were getting in mocks? Out of 80, how much correct?
Around 45 to 15. Fintelligent I got around 46 and in GARP I got around 48 and 45.
You were happy with that score?
I know that with this score I would be in a good position to clear the exam.
Okay. So you had confidence.
Basically. Yes, my main objective was to understand where I was making the mistakes and try to implement or develop my thinking in such a way that these mistakes do not happen again when I give the final exam. Because that was the main objective for giving the mocks. Okay. So I was not focusing on score much.
Interesting. When you went to the actual exam, you started solving. How was the first 1 hour? How did you manage that exam?
Around first 20 questions were extremely difficult and very lengthy. But from my previous experience, I was aware that there would be around at least 20 to 25 easy questions also that would be doable. So I just kept going question by question, and then eventually easier questions started also coming.
So the questions were lengthy also. The content.
Yes.
How many lines on an average?
Around half a page question, and the options were also like 3 lines per option, 2 to 3 lines per option.
Wow. Okay. So you skipped it or you were solving them?
No, if I was able to answer the question within like 1.5 minute of reading, or I would be sure that if I read it once more, I would be able to solve it, then I used to attempt it, or else I flagged it and went for the next question.
Okay. And when you completed, when you reached 100, how many questions were flagged?
Around 18-19 questions were flagged.
So out of 80, 18, 19, 20 questions were flagged.
Yes.
Did you find calculation questions more?
No, in my pattern, around there were 20 calculation questions, out of which around 8 to 10 questions were direct plug and play, and remaining were very tricky.
Okay, and what about the theory? How was the theory? It was good to manage?
Theory was mix of moderate and easy questions. So the moderate questions, and the main problem was eliminating the options from the last 2 options itself. Like you could easily eliminate the 2 options, but the remaining 2 were extremely close. So it was a bit difficult to choose the correct option from that.
Okay, interesting. And you were able to manage everything in that 4-hour window?
Yes, in level 2 time was not much of an issue compared to level 1.
Okay.
So I was able to complete in around 3 hours 15-20 minutes, and then I went for the flag questions which I hadn't attempted.
Okay, did you do option elimination also there?
Yes. The main thing I would also like to inform is that the major thing that helped me to answer the question was option elimination itself. Because there were also some questions where I didn't know that this was the correct answer, but I was aware that other 3 options are wrong.
Okay.
So that also helped me.
Wonderful. And overall, when you when you completed the exam? So you had gone through the curriculum or textbook how many times?
So one time I watched all the video lectures. One time I read while giving quiz one.
Okay.
And during sectional, I only went to the important concepts. And in the last 3 days, I again went through the entire books.
Okay.
One reading. So around 3 to 4 times.
When you came out of the exam, were you confident that okay, the paper went well or it was bad?
It was like 50-50. I was not completely confident I would clear, but I had in back of my mind some confidence that there is a good chance of clearing the exam. Because the paper I found similar to that of the mocks which I gave. And this paper went slightly better than the mocks.
Okay. And what is the final score that you got? Quartiles.
Quartiles. So operational risk I got 1.
In the order. Market risk?
Okay, market risk I got 2. Credit risk I got 3. Operational risk I got 1.
Okay.
Liquidity and risk investment I got 3. And current affairs I got 1.
Okay. It was a good roller coaster
Yes.
score. So wonderful. I mean, if I can ask if you can give 3 tips on how to prepare for FRM level 2 for the audience.
The first and the most important tip in my experience would be giving the mocks. Like reading the chapter is one thing, but if you're not able to apply the concepts and answer the question, then that it won't be helping in clearing the exam.
Okay.
The second tip is to make a plan and consistently follow it, because there would be a lot of instances during the preparation where you would feel like you are not remembering because the material is used for level 2.
Right.
There are around 103 chapters, and some of the chapters are also extremely lengthy. So just keep consistently reading, and in the end, it eventually comes together.
Okay.
And the third tip would be to have a good mentor and a good coaching program, because only by reading Schwezer you won't be able to understand in that much detail which is required to clear the exam. So my major understanding came from watching the videos, because I enrolled with your videos. So if someone explains those concepts who is having the experience of FRM exam, how the questions are framed, so that helps a lot. Like in many of the lectures, you also told about how to think in this way. Like if a question is coming, what should be your framework of thinking? How do you eliminate the options?
Right.
These are the small things which really help in order to attempt for the exam, apart from reading the Schwezer.
Okay, wonderful. I would like to also now ask about that you got an opportunity to work into risk. Your previous background was also into risk before FRM level 1?
Yes, it was mostly into credit underwriting in the home loan sector.
And then you moved to, after level 1, what was the role?
Well, after level 1, it was mostly in operational risk in the general insurance segment. So there I got to experience vast variety of the functions that were done in the operational risk, like RCSA testing, KRI monitoring, making frameworks, BCP, cyber security, third-party risk assessment, outsourcing vendor.
So you got an entry into risk.
Yes.
So in the interview, did they ask you about FRM or all of these concepts?
Yes. So the main reason I got into this role was because of my level 1 of FRM. So that helped a lot.
And how did you found this job?
I applied online through LinkedIn and Naukri portals, and from that the recruiters had called me after shortlisting my profile.
Overall, how many interviews happened?
3 rounds happened for this role.
Achha.
And 2 rounds were technical. And in the technical round, they went completely into the core FRM concepts, which I had done, because my round was taken up by the chief risk officer. She was already aware of most of the risk concepts that were there. So it was mostly the technical
interview that happened. So like you said, FRM concept. Was it only operational risk or was it everything, like bond, everything?
Mostly it was operational risk.
Okay.
Because the role was specific to operational risk. Apart from that, they just asked me about the different thing that I had learned in the FRM, but the major technical questions were related to operation risk.
Okay, this is interesting, and this is very good news for a lot of students, because you just had a different background before completing your level 1, and after completing and you actually left your job.
Yes.
And for preparation of FRM level 1.
Yes.
And then after how many months you got the opportunity?
After level 1 result came out, I got this opportunity in around 1.5 to 2 months. And after the entire process was complete, I joined in around 3.5 months with this company.
Okay. So interview happened after 1.5 months.
Yes.
And 1.5 months is for the
because there were 3 rounds, so there was a time lag between each round.
Okay, very good. So really happy that you got the opportunity because of FRM level 1, and I'm sure now level 2 will give you more better opportunities. And thank you again for taking out time and talking to us, Aditya.
Thank you for inviting me and being such a good mentor, because without your guidance, I wouldn't be able to clear both the levels in the first attempt that too.
Thank you, Aditya.